understanding this concept, chemical bonding, we have to understand what is bonding and why it is important. So, what is bonding and why it is important? See, bonding means when two atoms combine with each other. And why it is important? Because every element, every atom tends to attain stability, and in order to attain stability, they combine. So, combination will be as per the sharing of electron. There will be sharing of electron or transfer of electron, and donation of electron. Donation of electron. So these are the basis on that elements combine and they form a bond. So why it is important? To attain stability. Without stability, no compound can exist. Understood? So now we have divided chemical bonding into three parts. First one is ionic bond. Ionic bonding. Second one is covalent bonding. Covalent bonding. And third one is coordinate bond. Now, what is ionic bond? In ionic bond, what happens? There will be transfer of electron. Transfer of electron. And what happens? See, we have taken example. Usually, ionic bond happens in different atoms, different elements. So, different elements or different atoms or different elements, different atoms of different elements are required. Elements are required. Now we'll see how it happens.
Neha, a little bit slow. Neha, is it possible? A little bit slow. Slow down, slow down. I don't know. Students, are you okay with the speed?
Yes, sir. Can you see the previous?
Yes, sir.
Slow, Neha, a little bit slow. Go a little.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Don't rub immediately. If possible, bring the camera a little bit closer. Again, your voice will be more visible, more audible. Your voice.
Okay, sir. It's audible, sir.
Yeah, audible now. Correct.
Okay. So from where I need to start? Students, tell me.
Ionic bond, ma'am. That features.
Ionic bond, like why it is important and how it's happening. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I'll discuss it again. Ionic bond. Now, the first condition for ionic bond is there will be transfer of electron. Transfer of electron. And the second condition is what? Different atoms from different elements should be present. Now let's see how it is happening. We have taken two different elements. Suppose we have taken hydrogen and chlorine. You know the compound? This is HCl. So now in order to form ionic bond, what we require valence electron. Understood? So now for hydrogen we have only one electron. So this will be this will be available. One electron is available for hydrogen, and for chlorine, what is the electronic configuration of chlorine? Atomic number is 17. It will be 2, 8, and 7. Understood? So this is known as valence electron. So now valence electron. From here, I'll discuss what is valency, what is electrovalency, and what is valence electron. I'll discuss everything with the help of this exam. Now we will write all the valence electron. Valence electron means the electron which is present in the outermost shell. Understood? So 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now, earlier we have discussed why chemical bonding happens and why it is required, because every atom wants to attain its stability. Now see, chlorine is not stable. Why? Because it has 7 electrons in outermost shell. Then what chlorine will do? Chlorine require one more electron to be stable. Means 2, 8, 8. Configuration will be stable configuration for chlorine. Similarly, for hydrogen, now this is known as octet. This is what we known as. This is known as octet. Now, every element wants to attain stability, and every element wants to attain nearest noble gas configuration. Nearest noble gas means the noble gas which is present nearer to that particular element, that configuration other elements wanted to attain. So now when you see the periodic table, the atomic number 1 will be for hydrogen, 2 will be for helium. So now helium is what? Helium is a noble gas. Understood? Why? Because it has a duplet. Duplet. It has a duplet. Means it has complete duplet. Means in first shell, it requires how many electrons? 2 electrons. So helium has 2 electrons in its shell. So helium is stable. So in order to attain nearest noble gas configuration, hydrogen needs how many electrons? Tell me.
One.
One electron. Very good. So here hydrogen will require what? 1 electron. Understood? So now see, here hydrogen also requires 1 electron, and chlorine also requires 1 electron. So now what will happen? There will be one electron requirement for both the elements. So now I have taken this example to make you clear about octet and duplet. Understood, everyone? So this is the thing. This is octet. This is duplet. Now one more term comes here, that is called valency. Now what is valency? Valency is the combining capacity. Shall I rub it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now valency is combining capacity. Combining capacity of an atom. Now, how many electrons are given to other element and how many electrons are taken from other element, that will be valency. So now for hydrogen, what will be the valency? How many electrons hydrogen requires? One electron. So valency for hydrogen will be 1. Similarly for chlorine also, valency will be how many?
1.
Because losing 7 electrons will be difficult. You have studied about all the ionization energy, electronegativity, electron gain enthalpy. So as per those rules, as per those concepts, losing 7 electrons, that will be very difficult. Means you have to remove 7 electrons one by one. So you have to give more energy to the atom, and you have to take the electron out. So that will be very difficult, and you have to repeat the process 7 times. Like one time, for every process you have to remove 1 electron and you have to give more energy. So in case that case will be very difficult, and that case will not be practically possible. So rather than losing 7 electron, chlorine will gain 1 electron to complete its octet. So this was the valency. Understood valency, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Combining capacity. Now, in NDA exam, previous year questions when you solve, there will be questions related to valency, like how to calculate valency, and some compound will be given and you have to find out the valency of that particular element in that compound. Now, what happens? Whatever metals are there. See, this is the periodic table like this. This is a rough diagram like this. This is the periodic table. See, the left side of the element, whatever elements like sodium, potassium, calcium, these are the metals, and metals has what? It will gain electron. So the valency will be what? The valency will be, it will gain, it will lose, sodium, potassium, like that. So it will lose electron. So their valency will be 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. Understood? But this side, these non-metals, when we move towards the non-metals will gain electron. Understood? So their valency will be 8 minus whatever their valency. Suppose oxygen is 8 in atomic number. Its electronic configuration will be 2, 6. And oxygen is a non-metal. Then what will be the valency? We can't say 6 valence electrons are there, so its valency is 6. No, we have to subtract 8 minus 6, that will be 2. So 2 will be valency of oxygen. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now take an example for ionic bond. Now it will be easier for you to form ionic bond. Let's take NaCl. Example of NaCl. We know that there is positive charge and negative charge. So NaCl, the valence electron in sodium is what? 2, 8, 1. So this is 1 electron in the valence shell. For chlorine it's 2, 8, 7, 1, 2. We'll write it like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. In this case, what happens? This electron will initially, what happens when both the atoms comes in contact with each other? One electron from here and one electron from here, they come closer to each other and they form like this, and there will be like this. Understood? So they come in contact with each other. After that, what happens? The atom which has higher electronegativity means the atom which has higher capacity to pull the electron towards itself will pull the electron this way. So in sodium and chlorine has higher electronegativity. So this shared pair of electron will towards the chlorine, and they will form like this, Na plus and is green. That's why chlorine is having negative charge. So this is called ionic bonding, and ionic bond we can form in this way. So can we have some more examples?
Yes.
Try to form ionic bonding for CaF2. These are your homework. CaF2, MgO. Write down. And one more example we can take, MgBr2. You want me to discuss any of these example in the class?
Yes, ma'am.
Which one you
Yes,
want? Tell me.
MgBr2. Third one.
You have to try.
Third one.
Tell me which one I need to discuss. Let's discuss MgO, magnesium oxide. Clear? Now, magnesium, what is the atomic number of magnesium? It's 12. So, atomic electronic configuration will be 2, 8, 2. For oxygen, the atomic number is 8. It will be 2, 6. Is it clear? Now, the valence electron will be written like this. We have 2 valence electron for magnesium. We have 6 valence electron for oxygen. So it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now, what happens? See, how many electrons oxygen requires to complete its octet? Because what is the nearest noble gas to oxygen? Tell me what is the helium, neon?
Neon.
Neon.
Neon. So now these are the noble gases. One radon is also there. So atomic number will be for helium, it will be 2, neon 10, argon 36, xenon 54, 72, radon 8, radon is 86. So now the nearest noble gas of oxygen is neon, and it has 2H electronic configuration. So now this oxygen wants 2 more electrons. So what oxygen will do? Oxygen will take these 2 electrons here. So now how the bond will be formed? Like this electron will move here, and this electron will move here. So now it will be Mg 2 plus and O 2 minus. This is the ionic form. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubt? Where? Tell me. Where is your doubt?
No doubts, ma'am.
So can you solve for MgBr2 and CaF2 also?
Yes, ma'am.
Then one more example, you can write it for your homework. Next class I'll ask. Calcium sulfide, CaS. Understood? So shall we move ahead?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Electrovalency. Now, next is electrovalency is a term which comes under ionic bonding. Now, whatever electron is given and whatever electron is taken, that will be known as electrovalency. In terms of ionic bond, why it is electrovalency? Because are involved and charges are getting formed. That is why it is known as electrovalency. So don't be confused between electrovalency asked in terms of ion, generally for any element, for any atom. So electrovalency is directly related to ionic bond. So in exam, sometimes it can be asked, what is the electrovalency of magnesium in MgO? Then what will be the electrovalency of magnesium in MgO? 2 plus.
Plus 2.
2 plus, yes. And what is the electrovalency of oxygen in MgO? That will be
2 minus.
clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Shall I add this?
Yes, ma'am.
Now next is coordination bond. Covalent bond. Covalent bond. Now, covalent bond means what happens in covalent bond? There will be sharing of electrons. There will be sharing of electrons and similar atoms. Similar atoms are required. So in ionic bond, what was there? In ionic bond, different atoms were required. In covalent bond, similar atoms are required, and sharing of electrons happens. So now let's take, sometimes different elements also can be written, or we can write sometimes different, like in some cases, different elements or atoms also taken. So now let's take Cl2. Now we know that Cl can be written like this. And what is the valency of Cl? How many valence electrons? Sorry, not valence. Valency will be 1, but valence electrons will be 7. So we can write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So now in this case, both the fluorine atom has the requirement of 1 electron. But here we cannot transfer 1 electron to this. in this case, what will happen? This chlorine will be stable, but this chlorine will be having electrons that high. So in order to overcome this situation, what these two atoms have decided, let's share the electron. Now, one electron from here and one electron from here, they both come in contact with each other, and what will be and how they will combine? They will come like this. So now, when you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 electrons for this chlorine also, and these 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 electrons for this chlorine also, and this one will be like this. So this is, and the shared pair of electrons will not move to any element or any atom. Why? Because both the atom is having same electronegativity. So same electronegativity is there. So force will be 0. The force at the center will be 0. So they form bond like this, and this is known as covalent bond. I'll just come in 1 minute. I'm just taking 1 minute break. Okay. Okay, go sit there. Shall we continue?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So now we have some other examples also. We'll take next is Now this was the case of similar atoms. What happens if we take different atoms? Suppose we have taken HCl. We have discussed also. HCl, and hydrogen also requires ion transfer electron. So in this case, what happens? These two electrons will come in contact with each other, and they will form a bond. For hydrogen, it will be duplet, and for fluorine, it will be octet. But here, another case, another concept comes, that is polar covalent bond. Polar covalent bond. Now, what is polar covalent bond and what is non-polar covalent bond? So, polar covalent bond, there will be, polar means charges. There will be two poles. Now, here chlorine is having higher electronegativity as compared to hydrogen. Here we are not talking about size. Here we are talking about electronegativity. Means the capacity, the strength, the capacity to attract shared pair of electrons. So chlorine has higher electronegativity, and it will attract shared pair of electrons towards itself. Not the entire, both the electrons will not directly shift to chlorine. It will not directly go to chlorine, but because of the high electronegativity, there will be slight pull towards the chlorine. A very negligible, we can say negligible amount of pull we can see. So, rather than writing plus charge and negative charge, in this case, we will write small plus charge and small minus charge. So, this is del plus, del positive, and del negative. So, like whenever we take different atoms for covalent bonding, there will be some polar character, means there will be some amount of ionic character in covalent bond. But in ionic bond, covalent character are seen in some example only. But in covalent bond, whenever we take different atoms, there will be some amount of ionic character, and this is known as polar covalent bond. But when known as non-polar covalent bond because both the atoms are same and there is the net difference of electronegativity is 0. So the pull of the electron will not be possible. So this is known as non-polar covalent. So now you understood the difference between polar covalent bond and non-polar covalent bond? Everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Am I audible to all? Like properly?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Good. Now, in covalent bond, we have to study. Okay. Now the second. Okay. So now multiple bond. Now there is a concept called Okay, but what's it? Multiple bond. Now what is multiple bonding? Suppose take multiple bonding means there will be more than one covalent bond. Now O2. Valence electrons are 1, 2. We have 6 configuration. So there will be 6. For another option also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now what happens? Initially they will share one electron and the configuration will not 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 electrons. Only oxygen are not stable. Now oxygen, what will do? Again it will share one more electron. 5, 6, 7, 8. Now this oxygen also completed. Oxygen also octet is completed. So now it will be written like this is known as multiple covalent bond, and this is called double covalent bond. And similarly, we write for N2 also. N2. Now N2 will be written like this. Nitrogen, atomic number of nitrogen is 7. So configuration will be 2, 5, and valence electron will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, and 5. Now, in first case, first electron shared pair will be shared, and it will form one bond. But still, how many electrons are required? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 more electrons required. So one more bonding will be there. So it will be N triple bond. So this is known as triple covalent bond. This is known as double covalent bond, and these are the types of multiple covalent bonding. Clear, everyone?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubt?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
So now your homework is write down the covalent bond for NH3.
No, ma'am.
NH3, then CH4, then C2, H4.
Ma'am, can you repeat the homework? The audio was not clear.
Sorry? Sorry?
Ma'am, can you repeat the homework?
Yes, yeah, these three are your homework. You have to write down the covalent bond. You have to make the diagram and you have to
Okay,
show the
ma'am.
bond.
Excuse me, ma'am. The third question is C2H4, right, ma'am?
Yes, C2H4.
Thank you, ma'am.
You can write for this thing C2H6 also. Then C2H2 also. Clear? Shall I rub this?
Yes,
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So now next term is Lewis structure. Lewis dot Then we will move towards the coordinate one. Now in Lewis dot structure. Usually it is written as Lewis structure. Why I am writing dot? Because we are going to write the structure in dot form. There won't be any dash bond structure. There will be dot structure. So now Lewis dot structure. Let's take an example. NO2 minus. Okay, go sit there. So now NO2, in this case, we'll write the valence electron of nitrogen. So we have 5 electrons, isn't it? In valence shell. Always we will write valence shell electron. Because this is the first shell is already completed. So we need to complete the last shell. So we write the valence shell electron. Now, for oxygen, one oxygen will be here and one oxygen will be here. Now, one more thing is that nitrogen and oxygen cannot be written in the form of central metal. Understood? So whenever nitrogen and oxygen and hydrogen will be written in the at the side position, and other elements like nitrogen, chlorine, sulfur, phosphorus, all these elements will come at the center. So this element will be known as central metal, and this is known as oxygen. Now here we write the valence shell electron of oxygen 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now here negative sign is written. Now you have to understand negative sign is not for oxygen, it is for nitrogen. Because whenever electron is being taken or given by the central metal atom, not by the side atom which is present in the compound. So here it is written negative charge means nitrogen has been taken one electron. So now instead of writing 5, we have to write 6. Now how it will be written? After sharing one electron, one bond will be filled, another sharing one. So now when you see 6 electron is here, 6 electron is here, and 6 electron is here. So each of the atom requires 2 electrons. 2 electron each of the atom requires. So if each of these electrons will share 2 electrons. So it will be like this. So this is called a bond Lewis dot structure of NO2 minus. Understood, everyone? So now you can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then for nitrogen also 4. And for here it will be written like this. So when you see the Lewis dot structure will be written like this. Understood, everyone? So this is known as Lewis dot structure. So in exam, the compound will be given, and you have to. So now in exam, the compound will be given, and you have to write down you have to identify the Lewis dot structure which is given in the options. So generally these type of question does not comes in the exam, but concept you know what is Lewis dot structure and how we can write. Next is This is important. Next is formal charge. In this concept, nothing much is there, but only one formula you have to remember. Means formal charge, Fp, will be written like this. Number of valence electron. V means valence electron. Valence electron. Valence electron minus total number of unpaired electrons. Means total number of unpaired electron or non-bonded electron. Unpaired and non-bonded electron minus half into bonded electron. Bonded electron. So in short, we can write the formula. Formal charge is equal to V minus lone pair of electron minus half into bonded electron. We can write it like this. Bonded or shared pair electron. We can write the formula like this. In short, we write like this. So now we will solve a question. V minus L minus half into bonded or shared pair of electron. Now take an example of O3. Okay, go. So the structure of ozone will be like this. So now how many electrons will be there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like this. And one negative charge will come here. So we don't write initially. What we will do? We will 1, 2, 3, 4. So now what we will do? We will write it like this. We will mention 1 for this oxygen, 2 for this, and 3 for this. These 1, 2, 3, 4 is the naming. Now, first you will be asked to find out the formal charge for first oxygen. For first oxygen, what will you do? Now, for first oxygen, oxygen 1. It will be valence electron. How many valence electrons are there? It will be 4. So 4 minus L. L means valence electron will be 6. Valence electron of oxygen is 6. And L means lone pair of electron. 1, 2, 3, 4. And half into shared pair of electron. So shared pair of electron is what? 4. So now when we calculate, we will get 0. Okay. So now when we calculate it, we will get what? We will get 0. So now we can say that for oxygen 1, the formal charge is 0. We are not going to write any charge on this oxygen. Now oxygen 2. Oxygen 2. How many valence electrons? 6. We already know the valence electron of oxygen is 6. Now, lone pair of electron is 4. And half into shared pair of electron is also 4. So when we calculate how much we will get? We will get 1 plus 1 positive charge. Okay, 1 minute. So this will be plus 1. Similarly, for oxygen 3, it will be 6 valence electron. Lone pair of electron is 6, and then half into how much is the bonded electron? 1 and 2. Bonded electron is 1 and 2. So we will write 2. It will get cancelled. We will get minus 1. So now this oxygen will have minus 1 charge. This oxygen will have plus 1. this oxygen will have -1, and this oxygen will have 0. Understood? So these are the charges, and like this we calculate formal charge. You know, you write down this calculation. Shall I rub this?
Excuse me, ma'am, I have a doubt.
Tell me.
Ma'am, for the second oxygen atom, why are there 4 lone electrons, ma'am? Shouldn't there be 2 only?
You're talking about this one.
Yes, ma'am.
See, first, how many valence electrons are there?
And there are 6, yes.
6, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. Now, why? Because see, this is the structure of ozone, and now we need to write what? We have to write the formal charge. Now, why we have written +1 and why we have written -1? Because this oxygen has acquired 1 extra electron. Means here gaining is there. Understood? And here what? Losing means this oxygen is losing. Now when you calculate 2, this in ozone what happens? First you need to see this oxygen. Now when you see this oxygen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 valence electrons are there, and 2 from here. So it will be 8. Understood? So this oxygen is completely octet is completely filled. This oxygen, this first one. Now we talk about the second one. So now in this case, what happens? So now we have 6 valence electrons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now here plus charge came. Understood? And here minus charge came. Now to understand this concept, you need to understand the resonating structure of ozone. Have you studied about the resonating structure of ozone?
Neha, what she wants? Neha, what she wants?
Sir, she wants everything.
No.
That's all.
Let us solve that. What she wants? Ask her what she wants. She wants to be there inside the camera.
No, sir. She wants, I don't know, like I'm giving her one thing and then she is demanding another thing. You can go and sit there.
So, do you have any other pen? Is there one more pen? Is there? Give her one pen. She can.
Sir has given a lot of things to her. So 1 minute. And go with some. So nowadays kids, they are very smart. They know how to take advantage of any situation.
Yes, seriously correct. That is true.
So she knows that she's disturbing me. So whatever she'll demand, she'll get it now. Later she won't get it. So I'm talking about the resonating structure. See, when we write the benzene structure, so resonance is there in ozone also. In this one, sorry, this benzene, what happens? This position of this double bond and single bond is not fixed. Sometimes double bond is here, sometimes here, and sometimes here like this. So generally we write like this. Understood? So this ring means what? Position of double bond and single bond is changing. It's not fixed. So here also, this double bond sometimes comes here, and single bond will be written like this. So this extra electron you are seeing now, that is because of the resonating structure. So sometimes double bond will be here, and here this negative charge will shift here, and zero charge will shift here. Understood? So that is because of the resonating because of the resonance.
Ma'am, I have a doubt.
Tell me.
Ma'am, the second one, second oxygen, the formal charge will become -1, no, ma'am? 6
For second
minus 4
oxygen.
minus 3.
For second oxygen, this one. This one.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
See, valence electron is 6 for any oxygen. Then 4. 4 is valence electron. And sorry, 4 is this lone pair. How many lone pair is left? 4 only. So 4. And there will be, sorry, initially double bond was here. So bonded electron is how much? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So 6 is the bonded electron. So when we 3, 6 minus 4, and it will be 3. It will be 6 minus 7. It will be minus 1. Minus 1 is coming.
Yes,
Let
ma'am.
me check the calculation. Okay, so what happens because of this? See, we have to remove this double bond, and here we have to write 2. Yes, now minus 1 will come. 6 minus 2
Okay.
minus 3. Sorry, plus 1 will come. Yes, correct.
Thank you, ma'am.
So this is like this. Understood. So 2 will be here, lone pair of electron, and 6 will be bonded electron. And I was asking constantly this, that. So this is the thing. You are correct. Now understood,
ma'am.
everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Similarly, you can try
Yes, ma'am.
for HSO4 minus also. This is the homework. Just try it at home. HSO4 minus. This is this is the conjugate acid base pair of H2SO4. Do you remember H2SO4?
Sulfuric acid.
Sulfuric acid. So after removing one proton from here, you get H2SO4 minus. Understood? So you have to write the formal charge of this. Next is now as of now we have studied about the octet rule, like applications of octet rule and importance of limitations of octet rule also. Do you remember any other example of limitations of octet rule? This is a very interesting thing. From childhood itself, we have learned octet rule and duplet octet, but we have so many exceptions are there in chemistry. Do you remember any example? Let's try BeCl2. Understood? BeCl2. B means beryllium. What is the atomic number of beryllium? What is the atomic number? Tell me. 4. So electronic configuration will be 2 and 2. So we will write like this. Now chlorine will be written like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now in this case, what happens if chlorine shares? Now chlorine octet is completely filled. H electron chlorine got. Now here, this chlorine also has completed its octet. But what about beryllium? 1, 2, 3, 4. Only 4 electrons. So now beryllium is not completely. The octet of beryllium is not completely, like we are not having complete octet of beryllium. But still this compound exists. But some students ask, why like we can write the ionic bond also rather than forming covalent bond. Let's write covalent bond. Now this one electron will get transferred here, and one electron will get transferred here. Now beryllium will be left with what? 0 electron. That is not practically possible. Then beryllium BeCl2 will not exist. But this compound, after sharing of electron, forming covalent bond, this compound exists. So this is very important. In exam, these type of questions can be asked. Like 4 options will be given, and you have to find out which of the compounds the concept of this octet rule and the valence electron concept. Everything is needed, and we should know how to write the structure. Then only we are able to find out which compound is obeying octet rule and which compound does not. Now we can write some other example also. BF3, then AlCl3. These are the compound that does not obey octet rule, but these compound exist. Understood? So BF3 and AlCl3. You want me to explain these two also?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So now BF3 boron. F, and F. 2, 5, 2, 3. Boron has electronic configuration 2, 3. Sorry. So valence electron will be written like this. And fluorine is fluorine electronic configuration is what? 2, 7. So 2, 7. Atomic number is 9. Fluorine. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Chlorine and fluorine all are 17 group elements. These are called halogens. So it has 7 electron in valence shell, like iodine, bromine, chlorine, fluorine. So everything like fluorine, right? Start with fluorine, bromine, and iodine. These elements having 7 electron in valence shell, and these elements are known as 17 group elements. Now, what happens? Same thing happens. These will share electron. 1 minute. So now here sharing of electrons will happen, but still the fluorine octet is completely filled, but boron octet is not completely filled. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Only 6 electrons are there, not 8 electrons. But still, this compound exists. And later, I'll discuss how this BF3 forms dative bond. Dative bond means coordinate bond. BF3 forms coordinate bond. BF3 does not form coordinate bond with other compound like ammonia. So, this was the BF3. And AlCl3. So now AlCl3, aluminium is atomic number of aluminium is 12. Atomic number of aluminium is 13. Electronic configuration will be 2, 8, 3. So 3 electrons will be there in the valence shell. And same thing will happen. 1, 2, 3. And you know that fluorine is having 7 electrons. So this will come here. This will share like this. Understood? So only 6 electrons will be there for aluminium, but chlorine octet will be completely filled, and aluminium octet will not be completely filled. But this compound exists, and this is the stable compound. So these are the exceptions. So these are the exceptions of octet rule. We have some other exceptions also. Now these are the examples where these are the examples where the central metal atom is having electron less than 8. But we have some other example also where central metal atom is having more electrons, more than 8 electrons. So these are the example of less than 8 electrons, and we have some other example of less than 8, more than 8 electrons. PCl5, phosphorus pentachloride. Phosphorus atomic number is 15. 2, 8, 5. So we write like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And similarly, chlorine will be there. Like this. So now here chlorine octet is completely filled. For phosphorus, It is 1, 2, 3, 4. I should write like this, so it will be better to understand. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So here we have 10 electrons. So this is an example where central metal is having more than 8 electrons. Understood the concept, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubt?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay. So I'll just give you 1 minute, and you have to tell me how many electrons are there in the valence shell of IF7. Write down IF7. IF7. Just now I discussed chlorine, bromine, and iodine are 17 to 10, and it has how many electrons? 7 electrons in the valence shell, and with 7 chlorine. Now tell me how many electrons will be there for iodine. Done? Done, everyone?
Ma'am, 14.
How many electrons are there?
14.
5, 6, and 7.
14, ma'am.
Very good.
Good.
14. Good. Right. Understood. But still, anyone can say that this compound will be highly unstable because it has more than 8 electrons, but it's not true. It has this IF7 exists, and it's a stable compound. Similarly, you have to write down for SF6. Write down your homework SF6 and S2SO4. SF6 and S2SO4. SF6 is also simple. Sulfur sulfur's atomic number is 16, so it will be 2, 8, and 6. 6 electron will be there in valence shell, and 6 chlorine will combine. So how many electrons will be there for sulfur?
12.
12.
12. And this is a stable compound. So in exam, options will be given. You have to find out the compound which are obeying octet rules and which does not. So now it's very simple. You can find out for any other compound which is given. But whatever example I'm giving, this much will be enough for the exam. You don't need to go for some extra other examples. These examples are enough for you. And there will be another. See, as of now, we know that noble gases does not form any compound, but it's not like that. The noble gases are forming compound HCF2, then HCF4,
XCF4,
HCF4,
XCF6.
HCF6. So like that, they are also forming a compound. So this much will be even. Even krypton compound is also formed. So this much. Next, we have to polar and non-polar. We have this. Now, next is dipole moment. Now, what is dipole moment? Suppose two different objects are given. and it is separated by a distance d. It is called A and it is called E, and charges are plus q and minus q. Then dipole moment will be given by q into d, where q is what? Magnitude of charges, magnitude of positive and negative charges, and d is what? Distance. So like that, distance. So this is for dipole moment. Generally, based on this concept, questions will not be like, chances are very less. Based on this concept, question like numerical type of question will not be asked from chemistry part in NDA. So only physics part, the question, numerical based question will be asked from the physics section, not from the chemistry section. Very rare. But the another concept which is related to dipole moment and that can be asked. Suppose we have given some examples. What are this is given. Now, what will be like if I ask what if I ask the shared pair of electron will move towards there, like how the shared pair of electron will be present in H2. Now here one and here one go out here. Like this. So it will be like this. But oxygen is electronegativity. We know that oxygen, nitrogen, fluorine are the elements which have highest electronegativity in the periodic table. In that, oxygen, nitrogen, and fluorine have much electronegativity. And out of these elements, fluorine is the highest electronegative element. So, because of the high electronegativity, this and it will be written like this. So we write dipole moment like this with the help of crossed arrow and here partial what is called a positive charge and here partial negative charge. So like that we write dipole moment. See, CO2, we have 4 electrons. Okay. So now what happens? These 2 electrons like this. Like this, it forms a bond. But what happens? Oxygen is higher element as compared to carbon. So shared pair of electron will shift towards oxygen. Like this. Understood? Like this, it will be. I'm just writing one shared pair of electron. Oxygen, and here also it is oxygen. Now, what is the net dipole moment of carbon? If I ask what is the net dipole moment of carbon, that will be 0. Why it is 0? Because equal pull is there towards the oxygen. Like this side also oxygen is pulling with the same energy, and this side also oxygen is pulling with the same amount of energy. So the net dipole moment of carbon will be 0. If suppose here chlorine will be written, chlorine that is not possible, but I am just writing for the clarification. If chlorine will be written, then what will happen? Chlorine is also electronegative. So now chlorine is a higher electronegative atom, but bigger in size. And because of bigger in size, Oxygen will be having high electronegativity and smaller in size, but oxygen is having high capacity to pull the electron towards itself as compared to chlorine. So now here the dipole moment of oxygen, here in this case this shared pair of electron will move towards it and this will also move towards it, but there will be some amount of dipole moment. Here will be some amount of dipole moment. It won't be zero. So whenever similar element will be given as a side element, or if the element is electronegative and the similar element, the net dipole moment on the central metal atom will be zero. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So now your homework is welcome to the dipole moment of NH3. What will be the dipole moment for NH3? Next is, you want me to discuss NH3? You want me to discuss NH3 also? Now here what happens? We know that we have two lone pair of electrons over here, but one electron is here, one electron is here, one like this. Nitrogen is having 5 electrons in its valence shell. Now what happens? Nitrogen is the electronegative element, as I discussed. Now it will be written like this, cross arrow. And here plus, 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 and it will be. So this is the dipole moment of NH2. Next is dative bond or coordinate bond. Coordinate or dative bond. Don't get confused between coordinate or dative bond. Now, coordinate bond means there will be transfer of shared, there will be transfer of a pair of electrons. There will not be transfer of single electron, or sharing is not there. Only the transfer of the paired electron will be there. How it is possible? See, we have taken BF3. We have just discussed BF3 example. One electron, one like this. Now ammonia, NH. One electron like this, and two lone pairs are like this. So here nitrogen octet is completely filled, but here boron octet is not completely filled. That we have studied in exceptions of octet pool. Now what happens? This shared pair of electron, will be donated by nitrogen to boron. And how it will be written? It will be written like this. It will be written like this. Like that it will be written, or it will be counted like this. So now here the 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, 6, and we will count it this. We will count this pair of electron also. Okay. So 1 minute. So here it will be 8 for boron also and 8 for nitrogen also. So these two pair of electron will be written in the middle, and it will be counted for boron also, and it will be counted for nitrogen also. This is called dative bond, and we show it with the help of arrow. So whenever dative bond or coordinate bond will be there, you have to write with the help of arrow. Now note down this example and try to write SO2. Try to write down the dative bond for sulfur dioxide also. Now dative bonds are coordinate bonds are everywhere, like in H2SO4 also. Coordinate bonds are there. HNO3. Then one more example is there, HClO2. In all these, whatever oxy acids are there, oxy acids other than HOCl, other than whatever oxyacid means oxyacid containing chlorine, all the oxyacids containing chlorine will be having dative bond. So H2SO4, HNO3, HClO2, HClO3, HClO4, every acid will be having dative bond. So questions will be asked like which of the following compound is having dative bond or coordinate bond. So now you have to find out. So nothing is there. Whenever dative bond is asked, you have to just draw the structure, and whenever one pair of electrons is getting shifted to other element, that will be the dative bond. So let's try with another example also. HNO3. In HNO3, it will be written like this. Now here one dative bond. Now count the valence shell electron. Now count the valence shell electron. It will be written like this. Means 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So nitrogen, these shared pair of electron will be given to oxygen to complete its octet, and dative bond will be written like this. Understood? Now our last topic is hydrogen bonding. Shall I rub this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Hydrogen bonding. Hydrogen bonding is very important for this universe because without hydrogen bonding, water cannot be found in liquid state. So whenever hydrogen bonding is there, that will be responsible for that particular compound will be in liquid state. So all the organic compound, whatever organic compound we are having, you know that organic compound does not found in solid state. Wherever organic compound is there, that will be in liquid state only. So organic compound contains carbon, hydrogen, and nitrogen. And in every organic compound, there will be, which is in the liquid state, there will be hydrogen bonding, and that hydrogen bonding will be responsible for the state of liquid. Now, in exam, questions will be asked like in which of the following example hydrogen bonding is there. So I am going to discuss 3-4 examples, and that will be enough for you. You just see the example. No need to memorize it. No need to buy it. Just see the example. So in hydrogen bonding, the first condition is hydrogen bonding will be formed between hydrogen and high electronegative atom like oxygen, nitrogen, and clear. So whatever example we have studied till now, that will be oxygen, that will be containing oxygen, nitrogen, and chlorine. Now the second thing is 2 minutes wait for So now the second condition is electronegative atom. Electronegative atom will be small in size. So between hydrogen and high electronegative atom like oxygen, nitrogen, chlorine, and electronegative atom will be small in size. For example, we have studied chlorine is an electronegative atom, but chlorine does not form hydrogen bonding. Why? Because chlorine is bigger in size. This you remember. Why chlorine does not form hydrogen bonding? Because chlorine is bigger in size. Eva, come and write here. So, now, suppose HF is given. HF, hydrochloric acid. Now in this case, HF is hydrogen chloride. Hydrogen chloride. Hydrogen chloride. Now in this case, what will happen? HF and then X. Then again F. Then again this dotted or this dots are hydrogen bonding between chlorine and hydrogen. Chlorine is highly electronegative and hydrogen. One hydrogen and one highly electronegative atom is required. Then again, like now here it will be del plus, del minus, del plus, del minus, del plus, and del minus. So like this, you write down this structure. So similarly, we can write for water also, water molecule. Let's see how it happens in water molecule. H, O, H. Then again, it will be H, O, H, and then it will be like O, like this, H. Then again, it will be like this. Then again, it will be like this. Yes. Like this, it will be del plus, and 2 del minus. It will be del plus, and 2 del minus, del plus, and 2 del minus. So like that, hydrogen bonding happens in water molecule. You don't have to study the structures. I'm just explaining so that you can. Now, okay. Now next is in hydrogen bonding found in ammonia also. Third example is ammonia. Ammonia NH3. So we have discussed HF and H2O and NH3. Now we have two types of. 1 minute. Intermolecular hydrogen bonding. Intermolecular hydrogen bonding. And second will be intramolecular hydrogen bonding. Now, intermolecular hydrogen bonding means hydrogen bonding between two molecules like HF. We have discussed the example of HF. So it will be HF, H2O, NH3, like that. That happens between two molecules. Now, intramolecules means hydrogen bonding within the molecule. Now, let's take an example of organic compound. Now, this is what we have taken here. O-nitrophenol. OH. 1 minute. O-nitrophenol. NO. Now, in this case, what happens? See. Now, here oxygen is a highly electronegative atom, and this hydrogen. Now, hydrogen bond will be formed like this between this oxygen to this hydrogen. So, the example will be. NO2 and O. So this is O-nitrophenol. This is what? O-nitrophenol. This is an example of intramolecular hydrogen bonding. You just remember the example. You don't have to remember anything like bond formation and all. You just remember O-nitrophenol and this is the structure. And one more example is there, that is salicylic acid. Salicylic acid. Salicylic acid means COOH and OH. So this is known as salicylic acid. Here one COH group is there and OH. When you write the structure, you will find hydrogen bond is getting formed between H and this one. So this is known as salicylic acid. Salicylic acid. So now we have discussed about the bonding of ionic bonding, covalent bonding, dative bonding, dipole moment, valency, electrovalency, and hydrogen bonding also, and types of bonding also. Whatever we have discussed in the class, that will be enough for your exam. And one more thing, you have to try to find out the valency also. And in order to find the valency, you should know the atomic number and the valence electron, so that you can find. So in the previous year questions, there are some questions has been asked related to finding a valency. So valency you have to find out, and you have to remember few atomic number of some common elements. That's it. So that's it. So today we are going to wind up this class. Any doubt if you want to ask. Any doubt you have?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Everything is clear, right?
Yes,
There
ma'am.
are any doubt
Yes,
you have
ma'am.
related to previous chapter?
No, ma'am.
Actually,
Ma'am,
things are
hello.
clear.
Ma'am,
Tell me.
ma'am, you said about Lewis dot structure. There NO2, example NO2. You gave.
NO2 minus I discussed.
There was 5 electrons in the valence shell. You put 6 electrons. I didn't understand that part.
Why? Because it was written NO2 minus. NO2 minus means what? It has gained one electron. Understood? Minus means one. This minus charge is for nitrogen. Whenever you have minus charge written on any compound, suppose if I say HSO4 minus, that doesn't mean that oxygen has taken electron or hydrogen has taken. That means what? This sulfur is having extra electron. Clear? So like that. So here also, that's why I have written instead of 5, I have written 6 electron. Clear? Because of the negative charge.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Any other
Hello, ma'am.
doubt?
Ma'am,
Yeah.
ma'am, can you say please about the polar covalent bond?
Yes, very good. Because polar covalent bond is very important. I'll take one more example and I'll try to clear. See, wherever polar term, Eva. So now, wherever polar terms come, polar means there will be positive and negative charge. Yes. 2 minutes. Okay. To go on. Eva, wait for 2 minutes. Now this positive and negative. So let's take example of HCl we have discussed, right? So now in this question, what happens? One electron is there in valence shell of hydrogen, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. 7 electrons are there in valence shell of chlorine. Now chlorine also wants 1 electron, and hydrogen also wants 1 electron. Here transfer of electron does not happen. Because when transfer will happen from, if transfer happens to chlorine, in this case what will happen? Hydrogen will be left with 0 electrons, and that is not possible. That is not possible. So in this case, what will happen? These 2 electrons will come in contact with each other and they'll try to share. So what happens? This hydrogen will be having 2 electrons, means hydrogen will acquire duplet, and chlorine will be having 8 electrons, means chlorine has acquired octet. Now we write it like this. But in order to write like this, what happens? These 2 electrons comes here in the middle of the bond, and as chlorine is having higher electronegativity, means chlorine has high capacity to pull the electron towards itself as compared to hydrogen. Hydrogen is having lesser electronegativity. Here I'm not talking about the size, I'm talking about the okay, 2 minutes. So now because of the high electronegativity, these shared pair of electrons will move towards the not okay. So when we talk about electronegativity, in electronegativity, the tendency to attract, the tendency to pull shared pair of electrons is known as electronegativity. Here we are not talking about the single electron, we are talking about the paired electron. Now the paired electron will be here. It will move slightly.
Excuse me, ma'am, you have muted yourself.
So now hydrogen will acquire positive charge and it will acquire right. 1 minute, Eva. So now it will be written like this. So this is known as polar covalent bond because here some amount of polarity is there, some amount of the small, then almost negligible amount of positive and negative charges are there. So that is why this is known as polar covalent. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Any other doubt? Students, any other doubt you have?
No, ma'am.
Everything is clear?
No, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Clear, ma.
If you have any doubt, you can ask.
Okay, ma'am.
Similarly, you
Okay, ma'am.
can ask for IC, some other example also you can take. So nothing much is needed. Only this HCl you have understood the polarity and polar covalent bond. So this much is. So thank you, students. If you have any doubt, you can ask me in the next class. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Give him.
Thank you, ma'am.